Chris, really good to see you. Today we are doing a little myth busting about Roth misconceptions. Roth IRAs are, of course, one of the most powerful tools you can use to become extremely wealthy. But there are many misconceptions, so we're going to clear up the confusion. Myth number one, you can't touch any money in a Roth until you're 59 and a half.
Well, we're going to bust that myth, okay? Because you have paid the taxes on the contributions you put into your Roth IRA, so you can access them anytime that you want, actually.
So you can get the principal, but just not the growth.
Correct. And you'd have to pay a penalty on the growth.
I see. Okay. Myth number two, Roth IRAs are only for retirement.
Primarily we set them up for retirement, but again, there are some exceptions, like first-time home buyers can get $10,000 out before being 59 and a half. And then if you have a lot of medical expenses, they've been very forgiving in allowing people to access some funds to pay medical bills without taking any of the penalties. And that just makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay. Myth number three, you can't contribute to a Roth if you make too much money.
That is a true myth right there. Yep. And, for married couples, we'll just ballpark it and say it's about $200,000. If you make more than that, you cannot contribute to a Roth at all. There are several mechanisms to get around that, thankfully, because we can do what we call a backdoor Roth IRA, which would allow you to, contribute to a non-deductible IRA, which means you can't deduct the contributions off of your taxes, but then you can convert it to a Roth the very next day. And that is a very popular tool by all means. Okay? And you can also convert your traditional IRA into Roth IRAs as well. So, a lot of different, it's kind of like Congress sets up the laws and here are the loopholes to get around them. So with Roth IRAs, many loopholes.
And, just as a side note, Chris, we have talked about that before, about how Congress did put on the chopping block at one point, getting rid of the backdoor Roth, but then thankfully it still survived.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Now, I want to talk about one truth with one exception. Anyone with a traditional IRA can convert it to a Roth. The one exception, inherited IRAs cannot be converted.
That is true. Yep. So if somebody has a traditional IRA, even Bill Gates, he can convert that to a Roth IRA. No income limits on Roth conversions, only contributions. Okay? And then if your parents have a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA and you inherit it, you can't convert that into an inherited Roth IRA. That is true.
And then just touch on again, please, why Roths are such a powerful tool to become wealthy.
Yeah, and Aaron, I explain this quite a bit to a lot of people because we live out here in farm country. So I'll refer it into a farm reference, and like what you have on the screen. So if you were going to plant a field of corn or plant a new orchard that was going to grow apples, would you rather pay tax on the seeds or tax on the harvest?
Right.
And I think nowadays people would say, well, God, I'd much rather pay tax on the seed. Why would I want to pay tax on my bountiful harvest?
Especially since we are now living in a historically low tax rate.
Absolutely.
Right. Chris, well, this was helpful. So if somebody wants to talk about those conversions or the backdoor Roths or anything along those lines, what's the best way to reach you?
We always have them call Heidi at the office at 866-695-2620, and she'll work you into my calendar here and we can begin the conversation. And we always include our CPAs and tax planners when we get into these as well.
Always important. All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Aaron.
Tune into Chris McIntyre's full radio program and visit McIntyreRetirementServices.com for many additional valuable resources, including other great episodes of Game Plan for Retirement with Chris McIntyre. Be sure to subscribe.